and welcome, family, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're really moving into living life in your own narrative. It's absolutely critical in this season, family, because now it's like the narrative, because everything is being exposed. The narrative, which was solid, which was like an iron fist in our minds, is now becoming liquid, and soon it will even become air. And the only kind of anchor you'll have is your own story, because everything is blowing up, family. Everything is being exposed. So all those, like I really fear for those, not fear, I mean, we don't fear nothing, but I feel, let me say that, I feel for those of us, I was about to restart, but one take wonder. That's the whole vibe. But I really feel, family, for our African brothers and sisters who are deep in the religious psychosis, because so much truth is gonna hit them that it will be very difficult for some to mentally adjust. Some just won't be able to do it. They won't be able to adjust their mind into a new narrative, because remember, the battlefield is the mind. It's always been the mind, and it's a battle of narratives. The reason we're in the Babylon system is because we're in the Babylon narrative. We're in their history, we're in their geography, we're even in their time. Gregorian time is not how we did this. We had 13 perfect months, if you want to call them that, or moons. 13 moons would equal a year. And they were all exactly 28 days or something like that. Even this time, like even when you look at time here in Kenya, when we look at time, 7 a.m. is 1 a.m. That's the one. 7 p.m. is like the end of the day. So we used to, at least we respected the sun. We were, we're sun people. So we went with the move, with the way of with the moves of the sun. And ironically, a lot of our ancestors actually worked at night. The day was flipped, family. And they lived their best lives during the day, but those are stories for other days. So that's why we're in the Babylon system and the Babylon narrative right now. And I've been getting a lot of emails from people who are feeling out of sorts. Some of you are feeling emotional. Some of you, you're feeling extremely tired. Some of you have emailed me saying, when will this end? I feel like I'm just continuously in warfare. What's going on? Some of you, it's now is when you're awakening. And I feel like there's been like a sneak awakening almost. I know the awakening is a continuous process, but there's been a sneak awakening even on us who thought we'd awakened and we're now on another level. We had to die to that self again to reach these new levels. And I can tell you these new levels, family, are on just, I can't even speak on what this dimension is. It's almost like you even just want to shut out humanity and just be in your own little paradise so that you can move different. Let me just give you an example of how this new level is working. So I've been having crazy wind, right? Throughout all my shows. A few of you, I know, thank you so much. The majority of you have been bearing with me. Thank you so much. But a few of you have emailed me. There was really nothing we could do. And then this morning I woke up and I came out and I said, yo, high wind, like literally. I was like, high wind, I'm doing my show. Please just give me like an hour or two to record a few shows and not have the wind like just going crazy in my show. And family, there's been no wind. Now, could it just be because I'm recording at the exact same time that I usually record? There's no other thing that's changed. And this is what it means to be in communion with Mama Nature, family. Everything alive around us is alive, is conscious. So if I can talk to the wind and we can share, now the wind's gonna show up, I swear. And we can commune. What more can I do? And what more can we do when we come together, which is why we've started the unity communities. I'll have a clip at the end of this that kind of explains this. It's conscious communities, philosophical communities, mental communities. scientific communities, if you want to think about it. That's really the angle we're going at. It's not to save anyone, it's not to rescue anyone, it's really to just get us on a new stream of thought where we can talk to people of like mind and help to build one another. So if you're looking for a rescue, this is not it. If you're looking to be saved, if you're looking for this is not it. We need people to come into these communities as whole as possible, because we're going into a very interesting season. And let me take this time to, appreciate love our Patreon family. Thank you so much for supporting us on that platform. We appreciate love you so much. So family, if you are awakening, I just wanted to remind us of usually some of the awakening symptoms that happen. Sometimes you'll feel extremely exhausted. You'll need more sleep than normal. Your diet will change. Things that you used to love will now like have a negative reaction on your system. So you'll find that, maybe you used to eat a lot of bread before, and now when you eat bread, you get bloated, you feel sick. So you almost have to leave that. Like there's different things that you always used to take. Like maybe you could take more toxins back then and you wouldn't feel it. But now that you're becoming more sensitive, those things don't work anymore. We notice our friends, our dynamics and our relationships with our friends and our families change. People continue to leave our lives. Sometimes, as I said, a lot of us have been shifted to new locations. And I feel like that shifting to a new location was so that we could have this final birthing. I keep saying final, but I mean, I know it's a continuous process, but this final, like this heavy birthing into who we really are in a totally new environment without the interference so much of Babylon. And there have been some sneak spiritual attacks that have been coming up, but I feel family, at least now you should be approaching them in different, they should be hitting different. They shouldn't even be hitting, they should be reflecting and deflecting and going back to sender. Sometimes with the ascension, you can feel the emotional roller coaster is what gets a lot of people. You can cry you can find you're crying for days for no reason. And you're like, am I depressed? What's going on? And that's purging, family. Tears are such powerful purging, glands or purging. Because you see, a lot of our painful memory is kept in our body. And so for us to release that memory so that we can welcome new memory or start to create new memory, new ideas, a new narrative, we have to release that from our body. And a lot of that is released through tears, family. Crying it out. A lot of us, our weight changes as well. So we release that through that weight loss. It's like a purging. So that might be a reason why you've been feeling very emotional lately, family. But what is actually happening is that your current narrative is collapsing on itself. And because you're more of a physical than a spirit, you have more physical than spiritual awareness at this time, it can literally feel like your world is falling apart. But if you could step back and just and this is why it's so important to meditate or just sit alone, chill alone and just reflect on your thoughts. If you could take a step back, you'd see is like, that's the story that you lived. You've stepped away from that story. And so you're no longer energetically supporting it. And so it must collapse. And it's like there's certain parts of our thinking, our mental way of being that must go for us to cross into these new dimensions of thought. Because in these new dimensions of thought, there's no room in these new narratives. Because now there's new dimensions of thought which are giving us, it's like we have new foundational tools to build a whole new reality for ourselves, a whole new narrative for ourselves, a whole new season and time. And we have so much more to work with for our foundation because we're no longer in our mothers' and fathers' houses with their limited thinking, no hate to them. Or in our communities or in those religious psychosis. Like now we're in a, that's why we have to build this foundation because we've let go of so much. And the gift of, or the reward of letting go of all that is being truly able to construct a new beginning which can be paradise, family. If I can tell you some of the mystical things that are happening in my life, some of you would think it's bragging, literally. But it's like these sneak things are happening because there's still a part of me that is connected to my old narrative. So I'll feel like an enemy is a, of course these guys operate on moon cycles and they use heavy magic, 3 a.m., the witching hour, all that stuff. So you may feel it. And then how your awareness moves, what your awareness moves into will tell you how far you've come on your healing journey. As I always say, we're in the best of times and we're in the worst of times. It all depends on what's going here, family. And we will be so grateful for these years when we had an opportunity to adjust our narrative. Because adjusting your narrative is what is going to save your life. Shifting out of the Babylon narrative is the way you escape the fall of Babylon. And shifting your narrative is what will enable you to do things like relocate, build an off-grid home. Those are physical manifestations of a mental shift. So if things are still falling from your life, let them fall, family. Because they cannot come where you're going and where you want to go and where you must go. Learn the cycles of the moon, the new moon and the full moon, because that's the magic that is being used right now. And because we operate on group consciousness, if you can tap onto where the group consciousness is going for your own benefit, and I'm going to be talking about the Lion's Gate. I don't know if I'll post this video before or after that, but definitely check out that video. But like if you see that everyone is on, the 8 Lion's Gate, amazing, blah, 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 and everyone is on that energy tip, you can tap into that and have a quantum leap in your own life. But you have to be ready to purge in a big way so that you can really quantum leap and not just jump, jump from here to there, but like really. Remember, family, we are in a season where we have the chance and the opportunity to become the Supermans and the Superwomans that we see in the Marvel videos. Those movies are about us. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember, family, the most important thing is to get this under your control. This is what they're battling for. This is what they're battling for. And you need it under your control if you're to survive, if you're not, because I'm telling you, lockdowns are coming back. They are going to try once again with a double Big Mac. Like Babylon, that was a trial run. Like 2023 is going to be insane, family. And I'll definitely, I've been kind of hesitating to do a show on that, but I'll definitely do it soon. And if you're feeling stuck, like you don't have money, you don't have resources, you don't have anywhere to go, you don't have anyone, you don't have this, that represents a mental stuckness. And if you can't do anything else, just start to shift what's going in here. And, use YouTube University. Use the online system to shift your thinking, to shake up your thinking, family, by any means necessary, so that you can escape the mind control that Babylon has over your life. And all these things that you experience, emotions, physical aches and pains, changing diet, all these are just purgings of physical purgings of the mental narrative. It's like when you see things physically starting to shift and change, then you know something has shifted here. Like that's how now I measure my growth. It's like if the world around me physically is starting to shift, then that means I've done the work up here. Don't forget, you can always send us a question, Dr. Mumbi at drmumbishow.com. Put Ask Dr. Mumbi at the subject line, and we usually pick like, the most consistent or persistent questions to answer. And of course, to our Patreon family, you can always message me directly, and your questions always get priority. Until next time, tuko pamoja. Looking for a conscious community, or for people, who are on their awakening journey, on their transition to an off-grid living in your country, well, we have the solution, family. We're calling it Unity Communities. We get so many emails every week from people who ask if I know of people in their region, or people in their city, or people in their town who are on a similar kind of journey, who have broken away or are breaking away from the religious psychosis, and they're looking for just people who think the same way in their town, in their city. But more importantly, to give us a community where we feel understood, understood, overstood, where we can bond with people of like mind. And if you feel called to be part of this, definitely email me at drmumbi at drmumbishow.com. Please put your country in the subject line with Unity Communities. Get in touch with me, drmumbi at drmumbishow.com. Unity Communities.